JapanesePod101 です。
おはよう東京。こんばんはニューヨーク。こんにちはロンドン。
Hi everyone, Jessie です。Jessie here.
こんにちは、ともゆきです。
Welcome to Absolute Beginner Season 2, Lesson 5. There's a 6 a.m. in Japan. Thanks as always for joining us. Tomoyuki, what did we learn in the last lesson, Lesson 4?
In the last lesson, we learned how to talk about the weather, such as 今日は暑いですね.
Which is, it's hot today, isn't it? And in this lesson, you learn how to ask what time it is and how to say what time it is.
That's right. What's happening in the conversation?
Taylor and Kaori are talking on Skype. Taylor is in the US and Kaori is in Japan, and so they're talking about what time it is.
Let's listen to the conversation.
こんばんは、テイラーさん。
かおりさん、おはようございます。
今、何時ですか
6時です。
午前
はい、午前6時です。
Let's listen to the conversation again slowly.
こんばんは、テイラーさん。
かおりさん、おはようございます。
今、何時ですか
6時です。
午前
はい、午前6時です。
Now, let's listen to it with the translation.
こんばんは、テイラーさん。
Good evening, Taylor.
かおりさん、おはようございます。
Kaori, good morning.
今、何時ですか
What time is it now?
6時です。
It's 6 o'clock.
午前
a.m.?
はい、午前6時です。
Yes, 6 o'clock a.m. Okay, so Kaori and Taylor are talking together on Skype.
Yes, Kaori is in Japan and Taylor is in the US.
I have to say, Skype is a really convenient way to talk to other people for free. Would you say it's popular in Japan?
I don't think it has as many users as the US and other countries, but some people do use it.
It's known as Skype in Japanese, right?
That's right, Skype.
By the way, Taylor is in the US and Kaori is in Japan, right? What's the time difference between the US and Japan again?
Anywhere from 13 to 16 hours.
13 to 16 hours. Quite a big gap.
Right. That's why they are asking each other what time it was.
Now, since we're talking about time, let's review the numbers from 11 through 19.
We learned them in Season 1. They're very simple.
Yes, if you know the numbers from 1 through 10, then 11 through 19 are no problem. So, Tomoyuki, what's 10 in Japanese?
10.
And then, to create numbers higher than 10, just take 10 and add the number to it. For example,
11 is 10. 10 plus 1, 1.
10, 11, 11. So now let's go through the rest. 12 is
12,
13,
13,
14,
14,
15,
15,
16,
16,
17,
17,
18,
18,
19.
19.
Okay, great. If you want to review those some more, check the PDF for this lesson. Now, there are a couple of other words related to time that I'd like to mention.
You mean that AM and PM?
Yes, those are them. Tomoyuki, how do you say AM?
午前、
Gozen, AM. And how do you say PM?
午後、
Gogo. Great. So, for example, how would you say 8 a.m.?
Wait, that's what we cover in the next section, telling time.
Oh, okay then. Let's move on to the lesson focus. In this lesson, you'll learn how to ask what time it is and say what time it is.
We'll start with how to ask the time.
Yes, it's not hard at all. It's very basic, so let's jump right in. Tomoyuki, what's the phrase that means, what time is it?
何時ですか?
何時ですか? Tomoyuki, let's break this down. First we have
何時
which means what time, and then
ですか?
remember that the ka means that this phrase is a question. So one more time all together.
Okay. 何時ですか?
何時ですか? Listeners, please repeat.
何時ですか?
Great.
Sometimes we put 今, which means now, in the front and say 今何時ですか?
今何時ですか? What time is it now? Okay, listeners, please repeat. What time is it now?
今何時ですか?
Not so bad, right? Now, let's move on to how to tell time in Japanese.
This is also quite simple.
Yes. Listeners, do you remember all of your numbers from 1 through 10?
If you want to review, we recommend listening to lesson 4 again.
Okay, Tomoyuki, could you give us our sentence pattern for telling the time?
Sure, it's number plus 時 plus です.
So that's number plus 時 plus です.
Right. Let's show with some examples.
Okay, let's say it's 1 o'clock. How do we say it's 1 o'clock?
Well, 1 is 1, and then we add 時 plus です. Altogether, 1時です.
1時です. It's 1 o'clock. How simple.
Yes, it's very simple.
So how about we go through numbers 1 through 12?
Sounds good.
Listeners, please listen closely and repeat after Tomoyuki. It's 1 o'clock.
1時です.
It's 2 o'clock.
2時です.
It's 3 o'clock.
3時です.
It's 4 o'clock.
4時です.
It's 5 o'clock.
5時です.
It's 6 o'clock.
6時です.
It's 7 o'clock.
7時です.
It's 8 o'clock.
8時です.
It's 9 o'clock.
9時です.
It's 10 o'clock.
10時です.
It's 11 o'clock.
11時です.
It's 12 o'clock.
12時です.
Okay, great. Now, there are 3 times that are irregular that we want to point out.
The first one is 4時, 4 o'clock.
Remember that 4 in Japanese is actually yon. But when we tell time, the yon becomes yo, and we say yoji.
4時, 4 o'clock. Please repeat. 4時.
Okay, the next one is for 7 o'clock.
That's right. Before, you learned that 7 is 7.
There are actually 2 ways to say 7 in Japanese, nana and shichi.
And for telling time, we use 7.
This one is just an exception that you'll have to remember. So, Tomoyuki, 7 o'clock is?
7時.
7時. All right, now the last irregular time is 9時for 9 o'clock.
Remember that 9 in Japanese is actually 9.
But when we tell time, the Q becomes ku, and we say 9時.
9時, 9 o'clock. Please repeat. 9時.
Okay, let's do some practice questions.
Sounds good.
Listeners, we're going to ask you how to say different times.
Jessie, what time is it right now? 今、何時ですか?
Right now, it's about 5 o'clock. So let's ask our listeners how to say that. Listeners, how do you say it's 5 o'clock?
Remember that the structure is number plus 時 plus です.
And the answer is?
5時です.
5時です. Great. Okay, let's try one with a higher number. How about 11 o'clock?
Listeners, how do you say it's 11 o'clock?
Remember that 11 is 11. And the answer is
11時です。
11時です. Okay, now before we go, I want to bring up something that we talked about earlier.
What's that?
The words for AM and PM, 午前 and 午後. Now that we know how to tell time, we can add these two words to be more precise.
That's right. Unlike in English, in Japanese, AM and PM come before the time.
Yes, for example, it's 5 a.m. is,
午前5時です。
and it's 11 p.m. would be.
午後11時です。
So as you can see, 午前 and 午後 come before the number. All right. Phew, we've covered a lot in this lesson, I think.
We sure have.
Listeners, I'd like to make a request. Please tell us what time it is now where you are in the comments.
Please use the structure from this lesson.
Okay, well that's going to do it for this lesson.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
じゃあ、また。
こんばんは、テイラーさん。
かおりさん、おはようございます。
今、何時ですか？
6時です。
午前？
はい、午前6時です。